One of the key challenges for brands currently is how to maximise value from virtual exhibitions while the real thing remains out of the question. Some businesses will have tried them last year and they wouldn't invest again. Others might have had really great experiences and they're now applying the learnings of those to the next one. And some might be trying them out for the very first time. But regardless of your experience to date with virtual events, we do know this. The USP of real-world trade shows is the opportunity for human interaction and for customers and prospects to see your products with their own eyes. That's because fundamentally, events are about people and real-life experiences. And when you put a screen between the people and the experience, it changes the dynamic. And so it also changes the approach that's needed from a communications point of view. So when you're contemplating the virtual alternative, how do you get the right level of interaction? How do you capture leads? How do you demonstrate products effectively? And how do you network and start conversations? Brands really need to discard the conventional process of preparing for typical live trade shows, and they need to rethink it. So the same elements need to be considered right through from pre-event media planning, invites, teaser content, at-show branding, customer journeys, demos, to ultimately how leads will be followed up post-show. So the ingredients are the same, but the planning and the execution is very different for a virtual event. Arguably, a virtual exhibition is faceless, and it's effectively an enhanced landing page for your brand online. The key difference should be in the effort that the exhibition organiser invests to promote the virtual event to the target audience and drive qualified traffic to your virtual stand. During 2020, there were a number of cases of virtual B2B events where I felt that this aspect of the offering was really disappointing. I saw examples where very little was done by the show organisers to help push the participating brands in advance of the show, or even to direct eyeballs to the virtual stands during the event. It was often the exhibitors themselves that were doing most of the event marketing. And that kind of defeats the object, since one of the key benefits of exhibiting at a trade event should be the opportunity to interact with prospects that aren't yet on your radar. So with all that in mind, I wanted to share a few questions that I think brands need to ask to understand the likely ROI on a virtual event. Yes, virtual events are a fraction of the cost of real-world ones, but you still need to be making sure that what you're spending is worth that investment. So the first question is, how will the event organiser help to promote your stand and your content? So which channels will they use and with what frequency ahead of the show? The second is, what will your stand look like to a visitor and how do they interact with you? So what content can you upload? And are there any limitations on content formats? For example, you might not be taking part in a seminar or a roundtable that's part of the official event, but could you upload your own roundtable? Could you upload your own podcast to your stand? Now, some events won't allow you to do this because the content appears to be competing with the agenda of the event itself, or it's covering similar topics, so it's definitely worth asking that question. The third one is, how will the organisers help your brand to be seen during the show by visitors? For example, it's my view that a logo in a virtual lobby doesn't do much to attract new prospects because out of context, a logo means nothing. Even if your brand's really well known, a logo doesn't tell people what you've got to share at the event and why people should interact with you while they're at the show. So what's being done as part of the event package that you're buying to support with brand visibility? The fourth question is, what opportunities are there for you to contribute to the visitor's event experience, and do they cost extra? So if you can take part in seminars and panel discussions, for example, then your brand will be associated with those and you will appear in the promotion of them. Also, are these seminars actually live or are they pre-recorded and streamed live during the event? Will they be available after the event and for how long? These are all questions that you really need to ask and find out well in advance. The fifth question is, what functionality is available within the virtual event platform? For example, can you schedule meetings? Is there a viable way to handle virtual networking, and how does that work in practice? And if they talk about manning the stand, what do they mean by that? Next is what happens to the content from your stand after the live event. Is the content or information available online for a period of time afterwards? And how will the organisers help to promote it post the live show dates? Question 7 is what analytics are provided to you post-event? So will the organisers tell you how many people visited your stand, how many engaged with your content, and what they engaged with and for how long? Question 8 is how does lead capture work? If you were at an event in person, you could capture visitor contact details for your post-event lead nurture programme. So make sure that you also understand how this will work for a virtual event as well. Once you've got all these answers, you're then better placed to answer the question for yourself of what does this event help me to achieve? So here are the common objectives for brands exhibiting at trade shows. Sales, lead generation, brand awareness, product launches, product showcasing, networking, partnership opportunities, and ideas sharing. And here's what's needed to be able to make these things happen at an exhibition, whether that's virtual or in person. An audience and a means to engage. So make sure that you're satisfied that the virtual show you plan to invest in will help you to deliver on whichever of these objectives matter most to you and your brand. This initial research is really important to help you develop a marketing, communications and sales enablement strategy for the event. Just like a real world event, showing up isn't enough. In our next vlog, we'll be talking about the importance of experiencing every step of a virtual show through the eyes of the visitor. And that's about making sure that your presence is engaging, it's informative, it's effective at pulling meaningful leads into your sales funnel or moving prospects towards a decision to buy. I hope this has been useful. Good luck with any events that you're involved in this year, and I wish you all the very best for 2021.